and I'm just having fun here, but whenever there's been an Adam Wainwright update, and it seems like lately, I don't know, there's been about 65 every day. He threw a pitch,
Yes.
Oh, he walked over to the dugout. He's toweling off. What? Tweet. Wainwright just reached for the bubble gum, So when Solomon hit me with one yesterday, I said, oh, great, another breathless Adam Wainwright update. So Solomon made me laugh because he gave me the info on Wainwright's performance today at AA Springfield, and he entitled it, Today's Breathless Adam Wainwright Update from Springfield. It's good stuff.
Yep.
Now, this is interesting. It's just interesting because before I tell you his pitching line, let me tell you something else. It doesn't matter how he pitched. You will be told he was great. You will be told he felt great. You will be told that the Cardinals are just blown away by how fast he's recovered. You'll be told all these things. Sunshine, blue skies, happy talk. So, with all that in mind, today he pitched 3 innings in a AA game, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 homer, 59 pitches, maximum velocity, 87 miles an hour. Huh. Pay that no mind. Pay that no mind. The only question I have is whether it's too late for him to sort of enter the unofficial Cy Young competition. So, I apologize for the snark, but I just get so tired of some of this stuff. But 87 ain't good. Now, the only question I have, here comes more snark, sorry. The only question I have is whether manager Wainwright will call himself up and put himself in the rotation, or will manager Wainwright actually, say, well, since I was only throwing 87 miles an hour, that's the highest I threw. I think I probably need a little more work, which any rational person would conclude. But this is a weird situation, as we know. Let the hero tour begin. So I don't. Whatever he decides, what he thinks he wants to do. My manager Wainwright kidding aside, the point being, seriously, whatever he decides he wants to do. Everyone else will fall in line, including the manager. And I'm very sincere about that. Not even trying to be snarky. So if he feels he needs another one, man, I really hope he does it. And I hope that, I hope that he is making the kind of progress that makes him happy and he's encouraged by. All of my kidding and snark aside. If I wasn't able to joke around and have snark and be sarcastic, I don't know. I don't know I don't know if I could even do a show, so I have to do that. I live on it. It's my lifeblood. So we'll keep you posted, obviously, because you can't escape from being updated by what's going on with Adam Wainwright. Jake Woodford started today. That game's a final, by the way, 14-5. It was one of those days, and I do believe this, and this is no excuse for Woodford because you don't make excuses anyway, but it was an awfully windy day, and I think that may be really helpful to the pitchers. The Cardinals really, and so Jake Woodford was okay. I don't even know what to say about it. He gave up 2 homers, gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings, 7 hits. Pitching line, not good. I watched the game. Seems like he threw better than the pitching line, but I don't know how to factor in the wind and how much difference, if at all, it made. Madison Bumgarner got rocked by the Cardinals. 3 innings, 7 earned runs, 4 walks, 7 hits, and a home run. His ERA for the season is up to 10.26. And if you recall, Bumgarner was, he wasn't very good at all last season for the Diamondbacks. In fact, let me get to this. I mean, he had a 4.88 ERA for the Diamondbacks last year. The year before that, it was around the same. This year, now it's up over 10. And since he joined the Diamondbacks, this does not include today's game because I don't think it'd be cool to just add up the ERA and add this game to his career in Arizona and all that. But this was before today, which was a bad day for Mad Bum. 68 starts for the Diamondbacks going in today and a 5.10 ERA. And I don't know what it is. He's one of these guys that's got a hold on the public and I think media imagination because he's one of the all-time great postseason pitchers. But as far as being a good starting pitcher in the major leagues, regular season, no. I mean, respect the hell out of the guy, but no. You stack right-hand batters, especially in the lineup, you're going to beat him up. He's just not that very good anymore. And it has nothing to do with what he did in the past and the magnitude of his value in the postseason for the Giants. But he's just not that guy anymore, and he's 33. So it's not – it kind of happened rather suddenly because he had his first bad year, I mean, really, truly bad year at age 30. And you say, well, shake it off. You know, it's young. Well, he hasn't. He threw a lot of innings as a young lefty, and it caught up to him in a hurry. So, yeah, I remember last summer, you had writers, you had, broadcasters, you had all these pictures. Oh, yeah, Cardinals got to go get Bum, Mad Bum. And me being, the debunker, yeah, I was just like looking at all his underlying thing, and it was just a really, really ugly picture. And I remember, every time I said this, people would respond to me like I was totally crazy. Oh, you wouldn't trade for Bumgarner? No, I wouldn't, actually. He's burnt pie. So, but the name recognition and the memories of what he once was, that still carries the day for him. Because I bet you if you asked, 100 fans and 50 media types, like, hey, you think Mad Bum would help the Cardinals? Oh, yeah. I'll go give you. Oh, you got a chance. You got to go get him. Nah, pass. I'm glad that he was there for the Cardinals to batter today because their offense finally, not finally, but it's been a while. I mean, they were having a lot of low-scoring performances. And, hey, last night they lose the game 8-7, but they were down 8-3. I don't do moral victories, but I did appreciate that they had some fight left in them, and they made it a very interesting and entertaining game late. They're down 8-3. They come back. 2 Wilson Contreras home runs, makes it 8-7. They even had the tying run on base before Dylan Carlson grounded out. And then today they unload for 14 runs. So that's a nice little turnaround. We'll see what it leads. But again, they lost last night, so it doesn't matter. But maybe what matters is they started to get a little bit of their swag in terms of their offense, which should be better than it is. It's good in a lot of ways, but we all know what the story's been with the timely hitting or lack thereof. So in today's game, let me just go over, just to those of you, if you watch a game, listen to the game, you kind of know what's going on. But let me give it to you in stats. Tommy Edman, man, wow, he always hits left-handed pitchers better. We know that. There's a huge split with him. He's much better hitter from the right side. And I know later in the game he did go against some right-handed pitchers, so he had some success there. But Tommy Edman today, who had really not been hitting much this season, in all truth, he did have the timely game-winning single Sunday against the Pirates. But Tommy Edman today, 3 for 4, home run, double, triple, walk, 5 runs batted in, 3 runs scored. I'd say it's a pretty good day at the old ball yard. I'm not doing these in any particular order. Dylan Carlson, again, he had some success today against Mad Bum, as he should, because Dylan Carlson cannot hit right-handed pitchers, but he, in his whole career, all of 3 years of it or whatever, he has fantastic numbers against left-handed pitching. So he lived up to that because he's been really good that side of the plate. Then you skip down to Wilson Contreras. So last night, 2 for 3, 2 homers, 3 runs batted in. Today he comes back with 2 for 3, 2 walks, and an RBI, and 2 runs scored. So he was all over this as well. And I think he had another double today. Yes, he did. Tyler O'Neill, he had a good game. He had a walk and a hit, scored 2 runs. Jordan Walker, this was significant because we all know the slump he's been in, and it's not like he was hitting rockets today. The boys on Bally Sports Midwest nearly passed out when he had a ground ball single. That wasn't even hit hard. But that doesn't matter, and I'm just teasing. It doesn't matter because I was happy when he got that single too, as part of a 2-hit, 1-walk day. Because, it doesn't matter if it's a ground ball, a little ground ball that just eludes the second baseman, or it's any kind of hit at all. If you sort of have a swinging bunt and get on base, it doesn't matter. The important thing is for him to stabilize his confidence, feel good about himself again, feel like he's, back on track. The frame of mind, anything that helps his frame of mind as a young guy is good. So today, 2 for 3, a walk, 3 runs scored. Nice game. And then you had Nolan Gorman. Came off the bench late. Score was already out of hand. I don't care. He hit a grand slam home run. And anytime somebody does that, it's pretty exciting. And when this guy does that, he hits any home run, it's exciting because these things are struck. These things are like lightning bolts. They just get out of the ballpark so quick. He hits them so hard. So that was his. Let me see. What was it? That was his 5th home run of the season. He's got 18 RBIs. His on-base percentage is up over 4. It's 403. His slugging percentage is 649. And he's batting .316. So I'm thinking, did strike out twice today. He's been doing that a little more. But, again, I don't really care as long as when he makes contact. It's great contact. And the ball's going to be, smoked to the gap or it's going over the fence. So that's another positive experience for him. Hey, Kisner got a hit today. Taylor Motter got a hit today. I mean, pretty much everybody, ironically, these games are like this because you had all these Cardinals hitting, including Motter and Kisner. I mean, everybody just about did something, right? And then you look, it's Paul Goldschmidt 0 for 3. And then you look, it's Nolan Arenado 0 for 4. I just think that's hysterical. Not that I'm happy that they didn't get hits and all that. But it's like all the other guys got this thing done offensively. And so you're looking like, I wonder what you hear the score. And you don't really know what happened. If that was the case. And you say, oh, man, I bet Goldie and Arenado tore him up. No. The understudies. Well, not understudies. I'm thinking of the supporting cast. A lot of good players in that supporting cast, by the way, but they carried the day. And Cardinals bullpen did a pretty good job. Woodford went, like I mentioned, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, walked, strikeout, 2 homers. I'm not going to sit here and say he was great. But the Cardinals bullpen only gave up 1 run in 4 innings. And Thompson did a good job. Verhagen did a good job. Cabrera gave up the run. He had some bad luck, but it is what it is. He gave up a run. I don't care. And for the second day in a row, Hicks pitched an inning, a scoreless release. And he struck 2, only walked 1. So as long as the Cardinals can have these spots for him where the score is out of hand, one way or the other, he'll slowly but surely have a chance to kind of restart, and first of all, work on stuff he's got to work on, also get a restart. And when he comes back into meaningful pitching, maybe he'll have more confidence. Maybe he will have figured a couple things out. So I've been talking for a long time now, and we'll turn it over to Jim Hewer. What did you think of the Cardinals today? They'll be off tomorrow, and then they start their 10-game, 3-city West Coast trip.
First thing was, my goodness, Mad Bum is awful right now.
It's been awful for a long time.
But but today, when I watched today, and you're right, he wasn't very good. But when I watched him today, I'm like, gee whiz, this is almost to the point where you go, I don't even know if he could pitch in this league anymore. It was amazing. Now, you still like his fire. I don't know what the heck he was chirping at Contreras about. He still likes to chirp and be that guy. But
it's kind of sad though.
And that's where I was going with it. But you got to be able to get some guys out if you still want to chirp, and he can't get anybody out anymore. So, but Contreras, There it is. That's the Contreras we've been talking about. And he's been good now for what, about 4 or 5 days? And was it a week ago? We got to do this with him, do that with him. He's fine. Let him do his thing. You talked about it on the show. Just he'll be all right. And man, he has been impressive in a lot of ways. And behind the plate, it's as good as it gets.
And my theory was, very quickly, theory, which I said on the show many times, look, all it's going to take is a few days. It's going to take him to get on a roll, have like 3 or 4 good games in a row, and then it's like off to the races. And I don't understand why some people simply can't comprehend that. Yeah, so I know it's the culture. I know it's it's all the trolls and the gargoyles on social media. I know it, but can you let a guy settle in with his new team? Can you give him a few days? And so those of us who maintained a cool, calm, adult, intelligent, rational view of this, well, we're exonerated. So, and the rest of the people that didn't, well, I won't. No more name calling, especially those who listen to the show. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway, Jim, go ahead.
I get it.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I'm right there with you. It's good to see Walker get a few hits. Maybe start working his way back into some confidence again. I'm not saying he was crushing balls off the wall or anything, but hits are hits, and that's all you need. Because there are times when he was crushing the ball and was right at somebody. Oh well, but you need a few of those. To help get yourself out of a slump. That's usually how it slowly starts to turn. It's just good to see them get some runs. They got runs late last night. I was kind of like, yeah, but they didn't win the game. They still lost the game, and pitching wasn't good from Montgomery last night. But today, you finally did what you're supposed to do at home. Beat teams you're supposed to beat. I know Arizona's a nice team. They got some talent, but you got to win these games at home. And finally, they won a game at home and avoided the sweep,
Yeah, that's definitely the key, to just start winning home games. Because and Arizona's a really good club. I mean, they came in here NL West leaders, so it isn't necessarily for me, well, you got to beat teams like Arizona. You got to beat all kinds of teams, but you can't keep losing at home. They were 4-8 at home coming into today, and I looked this up, and the Cardinals had not been 4-8 in their first 12 home games in a season since, I think, 1980. I mean, it's been a long time. Yeah,
that was a bad group in '80.
And I got to find this because now I'm like I get a kick out of it. So they hadn't been 4-8 at home. Hold on one second, man.
Sure.
Have patience with me, because you know how I roll. They were. I'm trying to think, because it's actually funny with when you look at all the teams, Cardinal teams that were 4-8 after their first 12 home games. So I have this list for you. I wanted to get it.
Sure.
Right. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. In fact, when I put together some notes for the show, but also for scoopswithdannymac.com, they have not been. Here it is. Sorry, I really am. I apologize. Okay, 4-8 record after 12 home games hadn't happened since 1980. And listen to this. This is the funny part. Before that,
yeah,
1930, 1912, and 1906.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Except for that one season, 1980. Well, hell, that's 42 or 43 years ago.
Yes, it is.
And then you got to go all the way back to 1930, 1912, 1906 to find a Cardinals team that opened 4-8 at home the first 12. So that record, which is no longer 4-8, it's 5-8, but that 4-8, what really, I don't think many people, including me, would have guessed that Cardinal teams through the decades don't lose 8 out of their first 12 home games. It is very, very, very rare. And that's why I wanted to look up those numbers, and I got a kick out of it in a way. Not that I was glad that they were 4-8. But just how unique it is, because it just doesn't happen. But it was also a sign of the times, right? Sign of a team that just couldn't get its act together. Something's always breaking down. And I think I'm going to go with I'm going to nod to the predictable narrative. Well, they had a rally last night. They scored 14 today. Got a day off tomorrow. Oh, this is great that they did this before they head west. I hope so. I do. Confidence is a lot, but we'll see. They also have a day off, and I know that is a day of rest per se. But on the other hand, sometimes when you get it rolling, do you really want to shut down for a day? Well, you have to, and in the long run, it's going to help them. But I'm just being,
No, there is a point where you go, hey, let's keep this going. Oh, no, we're off tomorrow. You're like, well, no, we need to play. I get that. I appreciate that. The numbers you just gave there, wow. I knew they weren't good at home. I didn't realize it was like historically not good when you compare it to the rest of the franchise's seasons. That's crazy that four in total.
Yeah, right. And another thing, and let's face it, with Jake Woodford with his ERA today, again, what do you allow? How many runs?
4 and 5.
4 and 5. Okay.
Yep.
Another thing about this season at home that's been unique. This is like a related note. Busch Stadium, the current Busch Stadium, of course, which opened in 2006, has always provided a safe shelter for starting pitchers, because it is a pitcher-friendly environment. And so I looked this up this morning, and this is through last night, but that ERA is actually even going to be higher now. So through 13 games, through the first 12 games going into today, their starting pitchers had a home ERA of 5.81. Also gave up 9 home runs, 18 doubles, and a .510 slugging percentage. As I said, Busch Stadium opened in 2006. So going into 2023, the Cardinals' worst starting pitching home ERA in a season was 4.48 back in 2007. And the high slugging percentage was 4.43, also in 2007. But the point being, these guys early on are on a pace to put up a starting pitching performance at home that would blow away, in a bad way, all the good work that had been done through the years in this stadium by Cardinals starting pitching. Going into this season, from 2006 through 2022, St. Louis starting pitchers had a 3.44 ERA. That's amazing. And so to see them now around 6, an ERA around 6 or so, that's just a stunning deviation from what they've done since this ballpark's open.
I tell you, that number, that's scary, because from this standpoint, that team we're referencing 2007, I mean, that was Kip Wells, Todd Wellemeyer, Braden Looper trying to be starters.
Yeah.
You would hope that this group would be much better than that group. And the fact that they're not even on par with that, that's a bit alarming. Just to throw that out there as a comparison. Wow.
It is. I think they'll get better. I really, truly do. And I'm not just saying that to be a cheerleader. I'm not a member of the pom-pom squad around here. But I really do think they're going to get better. The question is how much. And even if they get better, or as they get better, is anyone, I'm going to use an old Joe Strauss phrase, because we're both horse racing fans, even if they get better, they start to get better, are any of those starters, or a couple of those starters, are they going to throw a shoe? That's what happens to race horses sometime, right?
Yep.
They're moving. Oh, what happened? Oh, he threw a shoe. So we'll see. But they'll get better, but this is still pretty alarming.
It is.
You know what? And it'll be alarming until they do get better.
Well, yes. Yeah. It's frustrating, though, man. I didn't realize it was that bad. Wow.
And I was saying this early this morning, saying to myself, writing a few notes, the more I thought about it, and again, this is before today, and the Cardinals went into today with a 7-10 record, And, well, first of all, it's not 3-14, but still, it's below their standards. And I don't care if it's early or not. It's definitely below their standards. But their history, early seasons have gone pretty well for St. Louis Cardinals baseball. They tend to be more of a kick-it-in second-half team, at least in recent years. But and so that bodes well. But the more I thought about it, Jim, again, this was going into today. It's like, is that 7-10 surprising? Should we really be surprised by that? The answer is unequivocally no. Because look, when your front office doesn't try to build up a stronger roster, and they, other than adding Contreras, they wasted an off season. There was so much more they could have done at relatively low cost, but they didn't. So they can't say with a straight face that they tried to build a better team, not just in one position, the catcher, but to build up a better team all the way around. They didn't do that. So if your front office is not helping you out as much as other teams, the kind of help that other teams are getting from their front office, that's number one. Number two, your starting pitching just collapses. I mean, they got two quality starts all year, and they're near the bottom of baseball in terms of ERA. And number three, your hitters can't drive in runs on a consistent basis despite having all kinds of opportunities. Well, why would we expect them? Seriously, why would we expect them to be better than 7-10? You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. Yeah,
they're not gonna be a good team unless the starting pitching settles in and then works its way to average, works its way to above average. Not great, but above average. And until they start driving in runners in the scoring position. When those things happen, the team's record will improve. The team will improve. They can get some traction. They can start rolling a little bit. But that's not going to happen when your starting rotation's getting blown up all the time and you have like the 25th ranked offense in baseball with runners in scoring position. You're just, that combination is really, really, what's the word? I'm not going to say fatal, but that is a really, really awful, awful combination. So why wouldn't they be 7-10? You can't win with that combination. But the good news is that combination's not going to be there in place because the Cardinals will start to hit. There's no doubt in my mind about this. They'll start to hit with runners in scoring position. And I think at least you can cross your fingers that the Cardinals can be kind of a solid mediocre in terms of their starting pitching, or at least average or a tad above average, And then you win games. You win more games, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm there with you. It's funny because somebody asked me this morning before this game this afternoon, what's going on there? And I said, well, they're a team that's not doing a lot of things well. And you see this with teams that are below 500. When they pitch good, they don't hit. When they hit, they don't pitch. And they're all over the place right now. And their starting pitching is really subpar. And you gave numbers. I didn't realize it was that awful. But I think it'll rectify itself. There's too many nice players, talented players on this team for it to continue to go south and just be awful and end up at the bottom of the division where they are right now.
Right.
There's a lot of opportunity here to get better. We saw it today. They exploded. This is not going to happen every day, but this is maybe the kind of game where you go, okay, now, see, this is what we can do when we got things going. So maybe they're going to score 4 or 5 or 6 runs a night now, moving forward and getting those timely hits that they need. I would like to see a few pitchers go 5 to 6 innings and have what we used to call a quality start, and have more of those from the starting staff. I think if they get to that point, they're going to rectify some things, and then they could start trying fine-tuning and address, and this is usually how they do it. They address things late June and sometime in July to go, oh, we need a pitcher or two. They'll go find one. It's never going to be the guy you want, but it'll be a guy that will help them get where they think they need to be.
Well, we'll find out if there's any forward motion value with this 14-run outburst today and that late outburst last night. And a lot of it's, Wilson Contreras heating up's part of it too. But we'll find out starting Friday and ending on the final Sunday of the month. because the Cardinals, after an off day tomorrow, it's 3 at Seattle, it's 4 at the San Francisco Giants, who do not have a good record, but I don't know. I still see that as a tough place. And then 3 at the Dodgers, who they haven't been up to Dodger standards. So that's maybe the one thing I look at a little bit. I know that if you look at those, hold on one second, I got to get back to another screen. If you if you look at the teams that they're going to play on this road trip, all right, I got the standings in front of me. And again, this is this only applies to the games through last night, nothing today. Mm-hmm. But if you look at this, when you hear those 3 teams, it's like, oh, that's kind of scary. But going into today, the Dodgers were 9-9. The Mariners were 8-10, and the Giants, I think I mentioned, are 5-11. So those teams haven't really. They're sort of been in the same boat, not exactly, but sort of in the same boat with the Cardinals. By their standards, all those teams, real slow start this year. But just as we say, hey, the Cardinals might start to heat up now, straighten out now, I'm sure fans and media in those markets are thinking along those lines too. So we'll see. That's why it's going to be such an interesting, fascinating, and important 10-game road trip, which I think is their longest of the season. That's the other thing. You have a good road trip, and you get your longest road trip of the season out of the way early. That's, to me, I'll take that.